Well, good morning and welcome to After GMS. So great to see you here live on our WFMY News 2 Facebook page. More people popping in by the moment, so we'll get you some time to get settled in. We appreciate you making us part of your morning. I'm Megan Maleras here with meteorologist Christian Morgan. You have a tall order today, or maybe a tall coffee order, because we're ordering up some real fall weather.
Yeah, I will have that tall coffee though, I can guarantee you that. But it is a chilly morning of weather. We got back down to 43 degrees this morning in Greensboro, and there were even some spots that got back into the upper 30s this morning. Asheboro, Lexington, I'm looking at you. Also up in Lawsonville, Dwayne Young, our weather spotter up there, talking about getting down into the 30s this morning. Beautiful sunrise across the Triad this morning. Taking a live look at Wake Forest University from Truist Field as the sun comes up. Temperatures still in the low 40s right now for pretty much most of us. 42 in Winston-Salem now, 43 still in Greensboro, 45 in Burlington. We're up to 40 in Asheboro. Yeah, we're up to 40 in Asheboro now. Still 39 in Lexington, 30s in the Wilkesboros, and 30s along the North Carolina-Virginia border as well. Not a lot's going to change in the forecast this week. High pressure is our main weather player. That keeps us dry, keeps us sunny. It does warm us up some, though, as it shifts to the east by the middle of the week. And we're not talking about a big warm up. We're talking about getting back to the mid-70s for Wednesday and Thursday. So just a little bit warmer. Humidity's not going to be an issue. It's still going to be very comfortable to be outside. By the end of the week, we're going to be keeping our eyes on another cold front back to the west that will sweep across the area late Thursday evening and on Friday as well. Not going to have a lot of moisture with it, so rain chances stay pretty low, but it does kind of reinforce the nice fall weather that we have. Humidity is not going to be an issue for a while, so we're not going to worry about it. It does creep up a little bit just ahead of that cold front, but it really won't be a whole lot in the way of being able to notice it. Here's what things could look like. Again, not a lot of rain with this system, but it could bring a few showers late Thursday and throughout the day on Friday. After that, we're dry for the weekend. The temperatures are a little cooler than they were this past weekend even. Today, it's all sunshine all the time, upper 60s to near 70 for the afternoon. Clear skies tonight, dropping it back into the low and mid 40s here at home in the Piedmont, and then some of those outlying areas and then foothill and mountains could drop down into the upper 30s and low 40s again going into your Tuesday morning. Back to the low 70s for Tuesday, mid 70s on Wednesday and Thursday. There's that low shower chance on Friday with the cold front on its way through, and then the weekend is partly cloudy with highs in the 60s both Saturday and Sunday too.
All right, so with those kinds of temperatures, it is cold outside, especially because it's such a shock to the system compared to how we have been. You know, the humidity in the 80s last week. This is quite a change. So our question to you, and already some of you are answering it in our first talker, is did you turn on your heat? And if so, to what temperature did you set the thermostat? Let us know in the comments section. We heard from some viewers on the Good Morning Show earlier. Erlene said, no, I haven't turned on my heat. It feels great right where it is in my house right now. I love it. Denise said heat on in the morning set to 72, and then AC in the afternoons set at 72 after the sun warms the house up. However, I have to set the air at 68 overnight and have the ceiling fan on. Deb said about 2 a.m. I was too cold to sleep, so had to turn the heat on. Much better. Ada said, love this temperature. No heat yet. Jared said, I grabbed a blanket and toughed it out. It was 62 in my home this morning. Christian has some thoughts on toughing it out, as he so eloquently professed on the Good Morning Show.
I did. Look, listen, I don't know why when we get to this time of the year, it seems, you know, people want to brag about not turning their heat on. Bragging about not turning your heat on is like flexing in the gym and making sure everybody saw it. Like, you know, if you're cold, turn it on. If you're not, then don't, right? It's not a measure of your strength or of your toughness, but I feel like at some point we get where we start to challenge each other this time of the year. I haven't turned mine on yet, though. Just saying.
Yeah, tough
but
guy.
I also really like it cold at night. Like I like it cold and I have the fan on at night because I like to use a lot of cover. And also we're still in that point of the year where the sun is still strong. So if you turn the heat on at night, you'll need it in the morning, but by the afternoon you kind of need the air again in a lot of instances. So it's a lot of back and forth.
That's why I feel like once it drops down to this cold, it's just good to turn the heat on and set it to a lower temperature. So it's not running constantly, but you're also not going back and forth between heat AC, because we know that's hard on those HVAC systems. And already we've heard that the HVAC companies, as Denise is going to explain in just a moment, they're already working overtime. And it's not even, you know, really into fall or certainly not into winter yet. So there's a long ways to go with this. We did turn ours on over the weekend. I actually popped it up a degree this morning. Just was cold in the house. It was hard to get out of bed. And but if it were up to my husband, we would leave the heat off until mid-January.
Okay, now I don't go that far.
Thermostat wars in our house, always.
Yeah, and you know, the first time you turn the heat on, it's got that smell to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you turn it on, at least get it going, at least take it for a test drive, right? Make sure it's good to go for the winter season.
Right, because you don't want to have to, like, I don't know, work it out way too much trying to get it to overcompensate then when you're really ready for it, because then it's going to run all the time and probably end up costing you more money than it would have if you had turned it on earlier. Yeah. Not an HVAC expert, but we've done enough stories about these over the years to know what kind of an impact it makes. Okay, so we're hearing from some of you on our feed. Dwayne says heat pump came on at 67. Bobby said a little chilly up here in Roanoke, Virginia. Brandy said yes. It's set at 72. Debbie's is set and on at 74. Antasia said yes, 70. Carol said her fan was on, but she also had a blanket. Carl said, my wife is trying to kill me. AC remains on and the corner fan.
I was laughing at that comment here a minute ago.
Yeah, Ramona said, sure did turn it on. I'm cold natured. I had it turned on to 72. Ours was at 69 this morning. It was a little chilly in our house.
That's a little chilly. 69's a little chilly, yeah.
Yeah, but hey, better than no heat, like you. It depends on where you live. It really does. You know, our house gets really insulated during the afternoons, and we get that afternoon sun, so it really stays warm, and it warms up quite a bit. So we try not to mess with the temperature too much on the thermostat.
Yeah, my sunroom kind of almost directly faces the sun in the afternoon, so it, you know, it's coming right in, so it warms things up quickly. And then it seems like it holds heat pretty well, so temperature doesn't fluctuate a whole lot in my place.
Yeah, Beverly slept with her heat on last night. It is still on now, she says. So Christian, I know I hesitate to say this because it's like a meteorologist's most dreaded question.
Boy.
Is this cold here to stay, or could we go back to heat, summer-like temperatures?
We could get back to being warm, and there have been hot days in October. You know, we've had 90s in October before. Yeah. I don't see that. I honestly don't even see us getting back to the 80s. Really, at least in the near future. I see us sticking it out. The warmest I think we'll get is upper 70s, which is still above normal for this time of the year. And I know you may look at the 7-day forecast and say, oh, you know, we're headed for another warm up again by the middle of the week. But 75, 76 degrees is only just a few degrees above normal. So that's not out of the ordinary. And I think that last Friday we got to 84 degrees. And I really do think that could be our warmest day for the rest of the year. Wow. So when you get into, you know, the sun is not as strong. It's still pretty strong, which is why we're able to warm up in the afternoon, but it's not really strong enough to get us back into the mid 80s or even close to 90 this time of the year. So as you head through October and of course into November, it's easier to cool things off. Of course, you don't have as much sunlight. That also aids in that. And you also get many, many more cold fronts that come through this time of the year as well and kind of reinforce that cool air. So as we end October, go into November, I think it's really going to be hard to really get warm again.
So the flip-flops can go away. The boots can come out. Yeah. It's time. Yeah. It's more than time. So Joanne said you all will have to come on an hour later. I am having a hard time getting out of bed when it's colder. Joanne, that's the beauty of after GMS. You can stay in bed and just tune in on your phone,
that's
right? We love having you every day. All right, this was a fun first conversation. We'll have another one coming up momentarily. Go ahead and start weighing in on that. Our topic is here in the caption, but right now we have some morning headlines to get to. Now that it is getting cooler, as we mentioned, it is time to give your HVAC system a little TLC. WFMY News 2's Denise McMiller talked to the experts.
Well, your HVAC system works hard year-round, and now that we're starting to experience some of those cooler temperatures, you want to make sure your heating and cooling system is ready to go for these winter months without any trouble. Having an HVAC tech come out and do a routine maintenance check twice a year will have you ready to go for the cold weather. They'll be able to tell you if you need any repairs, make sure there are no safety issues, and ensure motors and switches are running properly.
Another big thing is making sure their filter's clean. If they have gas or oil, if a filter is dirty or clogged, it can cause the system to run hotter, which can shorten the lifespan of the heat exchanger.
That basically means avoiding maintenance checks, and having dirty filters can result in you needing to replace your system a lot sooner, and it could cost you upwards of $7,000. Now, your heating and cooling system benefits from regular use. Idleness is not good, so if you haven't used your system in a while, you want to go ahead and turn it on and get it ready so those gears and motors are getting warmed up and they'll be ready to go when these colder temperatures come our way.
All right, great suggestions. In our other headlines this morning, a group of 200 Winston-Salem-Forsyth County school bus drivers say they're planning to strike this week. The drivers are demanding raises, better radios, paychecks every other week instead of monthly, among other things. So far, the organizer behind this movement says about 200 drivers have agreed to join in on the strike planned for Friday. Before that, the group plans to meet with the superintendent Wednesday to discuss solutions. Thousands of people are in High Point this morning for the High Point Fall Furniture Market. It's not open to the public per usual. The market is open only for furniture exhibitors and buyers, but it brings in a huge boost to our area economically. A spokesperson said the number of attendees is up compared to spring market, but not back to pre-pandemic levels. The furniture market runs until October 20th. The governor plans to stop by this morning. All right, now to our second conversation. Already a lot of people are talking about it. It's trending all over social media. You know her best as Thelma Lou on the Andy Griffith Show. Betty Lynn, an actor, dancer, and performer, passed away this weekend at age 95. Her career started in the movie Cheaper by the Dozen in the 1950s. She then joined the Andy Griffith Show in 1961 as Barney's girlfriend, where her big following began. She eventually made Mount Airy her real home and spent some of her final years visiting with fans at the Andy Griffith Museum. The Surrey Arts Council plans to hold a memorial service for her at next year's Mayberry Days. We're also seeing so many wonderful memories and condolences about her on the News 2 Facebook page. Go ahead and drop your comment here below on our feed while we share some of the ones that have already come in. Tara said, "We all loved Thelma Lou." Donna said, "Rest in peace, a great actress." Vicky wrote, "Thank you for the enjoyment you brought to so many." Do you have a favorite Thelma Lou or Andy Griffith memory? Drop a comment below. Christian, I know you grew up watching Andy Griffith. She was such a vibrant part of the show for the 26 episodes she was on. Spunky, sassy, and sweet, a perfect companion for Barney.
Yeah, and it was so cool that even after that, she moved away, and then did eventually make Mount Airy her home. And, she was very, very visible, very accessible to people, especially throughout the community. And I think that says a lot about who she was, and it wasn't just the fact that she played that role in that TV series. It was the fact that she stuck around and was really a part of the lifestyle there in Mayberry and in Mount Airy. So that was cool. And of course, just especially speaking in North Carolina terms, just a legend for our area that we lost.
Yeah, you mentioned, and we mentioned, that she spent a lot of her later years here, having moved to Mount Airy because it reminded her of the real Mayberry, and she loved the people there and the small town vibe. Originally, she was born in Kansas City, Missouri, so she's from the Midwest, and then eventually moved to LA for all the acting stuff, and then landed here. So that really speaks to our Triad community. Mount Airy in particular is such a beautiful, quaint little town. You really feel that sense of family. Yeah,
and to hear I think we ran some stories earlier this morning. We have over the last 24 hours about folks in the community there. We talked to folks at the Surrey Arts Council as well, and it seems like everybody you talk to has such a a warm and welcoming account of who she was, and that she would stop by randomly and just chit chat with people.
Yeah. And interestingly, I was reading an interview, one of her earlier interviews that she did. She said when she auditioned for the Andy Griffith Show, she had seen only 2 episodes. So she wasn't super familiar with the plot line or the characters. But she said when she read the script, she laughed out loud. And to her, that spoke volumes. She said she didn't do that often. And, not much material makes you really bust out in laughter. And so she knew this was the show for her. And obviously she reprised an amazing role on it, and later, eventually in the movie, ended up marrying Barney. So, spoiler alert. Sorry if you haven't seen it. It all works out in the end.
And what a great cast of people that she worked with too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Amazing. So we're asking you here on our feed to share your memories. Joanne said she was always so gracious. Scott said he liked the episode when she and Andy got into it when Barney was singing in the choir. Oh yes. Debbie remembers when the Fun Girls came to Mayberry and Barney tried to get rid of them. Carl liked the episode where she was mad with Barney about dating another girl. Uh-oh, funny to him. It's all right, she won out in the end, as we just mentioned. Bobby said he was in Mount Airy a couple weeks ago for Mayberry Festival. As we mentioned, she was such a pivotal fixture at that over the years. We know the Surrey Arts Council had mentioned she was always at the museum when she could, talking to fans. By the way, if you've never been to the Andy Griffith Museum, it is something to see.
Awesome, it's great.
Yeah.
It's really something to see, especially if you're from North Carolina or if you grew up, even watching Andy Griffith.
Yeah. So how would you compare, as a native North Carolinian, how would you compare the real Mount Airy to Mayberry?
It's got that small town community vibe, like Mayberry had everybody knows everybody kind of thing.
Right.
So I think it was very well portrayed, in the TV series. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in Mount Airy, but we have several folks I know. Eric Chilton can probably speak, volumes about this, growing up there and being from that area. But I do think the show really encompassed what life was like, in Mount Airy, the small town community vibe. Everybody knows everybody. Everything's within walking distance. Back in the days when a handshake, really meant something in business.
Yeah. And just good quality people, good quality television, and just family values. That's why people still love watching the reruns every time they are on TV. Sure. Of course, we air them here still on WFMY News too. So, it's just a good show. It's good, wholesome family values that are expressed, and we certainly will miss Thelma Lou.
And just one of those timeless shows that you can watch over and over and over again.
Yep. All right, well, some people wish we could hit over and over and over again on this forecast because they like the cooler fall air.
I like it too. I could see my breath outside this morning, right? It's been a while since we've been able to do that. 7-day forecast, if you've been looking for the fall weather to be here and really kind of lock in place and stick around for a while, this is all for you right here. Mid-40s this morning, 70 this afternoon, back to the 40s tonight, low 70s for your Tuesday. It's all sunshine all the time the next several days. Back to the 40s again going into your Wednesday morning, and then we will warm it up a little bit for Wednesday and Thursday, back to the mid-70s. 75 on Wednesday, 76 on Thursday, and then Friday, another cold front will head our way. Again, kind of the same situation like we had on Saturday. Doesn't appear to me that there will be a whole lot of moisture to work with that front as it approaches late Thursday going into Friday. We can still have a few showers. Other than that, it really just kind of reinforces nice weather again, brings us back to even cooler temperatures than we see midweek. We'll see morning lows in the upper 40s and low 50s for Saturday and Sunday, which is pretty close to normal right now. Average low is 49 degrees at this point, and then we get back to the upper 60s for Saturday and Sunday, also pretty close to normal as well.
All right, so Thursday looks like the warmest day of the week.
Thursday's the warmest day of the week, and honestly the warmest day that I see for quite some time.
Yeah, the weekend is chilly.
Weekend is cool.
We have some plans outside this weekend, gonna have to bundle up.
60s, 60s for highs in October seem a little cool. 60s for highs in January seem hot. So, it's all about perspective.
It's all about extremes in North Carolina.
That's right. We have it all.
Yes, from one day to the next. Yes. Different seasons, all four of them.
Keep you on your toes.
Thanks so much for watching us here on After GMS. We do this every weekday at 7:45 on Facebook Live. We appreciate you. Have a great day.
See you later.